Hi everybody, this is Oksana. So today I have a fun, simple project for you, and this is a really neat fidget pendant. So it's got this big central bead here that you can spin, and it's got these little round beads that you can move up and down as well as just kind of spin around, like just push on them and spin them this way. And on this side I put some textured beads. They're faceted, so they feel a little different, and you can kind of spin them this way or just move them up and down. So it's just a really fun, fidgety little pendant and really easy to make. Uses one piece of round wire, so I hope that you enjoy this video. So for my materials, I'm going to be using some round dead soft copper wire. My wire I purchased from riogrande.com. This is what it looks like, and I only need one little piece here. It's 10 inches long. And then you just need a large bead. The bigger the better. This is pretty much the smallest that you can get away with. It's about 15 millimeters, but if you have a bigger one, that's even better. I just didn't have a bigger one. And then you're also going to need some tiny little beads, ones that work well in terms of fitting on this round wire. So just try out different beads that you might have and put them on this wire and make sure that they kind of slide around on it easily, especially when it's bent into like a curvature, because we're going to have it be a curve. So do they slide around the curve? Because sometimes they slide just fine on the wire, but once you bend it, they tend to like get stuck and not be able to go over the curve. So that's how you want to test them out and pick out some beads that you want to use. I have one like this, which is a textured bead, and then I'll show you later, just some round ones and little seed beads, just like a nice variety, whatever you prefer. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave ourselves just a little space here, and we're going to grab this wire with our pliers and make a sharp bend. And then I'm using my round nose pliers and I'm bending the wire around this rounded part of them, just completely all the way around until it makes a loop like this. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab that loop with my pliers, and I'm going to grab this little tail end and just wrap it around, at least completely around once. Because what that's going to do is it's going to lock this in place. And you can use other types of wire as well, like maybe you want to use sterling silver or like enameled colored copper wire. So just as long as it's round, dead soft 20 gauge wire, it'll be fine. So I'm just pinching down that little end. I trimmed it, and you don't want to feel it, so you want to just push it down with your pliers until you can't feel it and it's no longer sharp. So what you want to do now is take the large bead, so here's my large citrine bead, and slide it up to the top here. And what you want to do now is we're going to bend the wire, but before we bend it, instead of having your citrine bead just pushed all the way to the top, give it a little bit of space. So see how it was here and I moved it just a little bit down and it formed like a little gap here, because we're going to need a gap. This wire is going to come around and wrap around here, so we're going to need a little gap. So give yourself a little gap and then bend your wire. So basically your bead can slide up and down because you're going to need the space. So what you want to do now is start kind of curving it so it's going around the bead. And now grab your beads. So first I'm going to use these tiny little antique copper colored round beads, and I think they're 2 millimeter and 3 millimeter. I've had them for ages. I just found them in my stash. I think I originally got them maybe from eBay. Sorry, you'll see in a second. I know it's so hard because they're so tiny. So they look like this, and they're just nice and rounded. So I thought one side is going to have these rounded beads and the other side is going to be kind of the textured side. So what you want to do is you can do, whatever pattern you want with your beads here. I just did small, large, small, large. But you don't want to put so many beads that it goes more than like halfway across your bead, because then they won't have space to move. And so now that I did that, I'm just kind of gently bending this wire in a curve. You want the curve to be kind of even. So just bend it carefully. My beads still slide around, so that's good. And you want to retain the spacing. See how there's space between this wire and the bead? You want that space, because if it was really tight, then these little beads would kind of get squished against this bead. So retain the spacing. And what we're going to do now here, right at the bail, is we're going to wrap it around once. So just hold it to retain the spacing. Make sure it doesn't get pulled and you don't lose that spacing. And you can use your pliers to kind of help yourself, because this is kind of a small area, might be hard to get into. So you can use your pliers to tighten that up, and you might need to fix your bail. So see, my bail is like sideways now, so I'm just gonna fix it so it's straight. So the way that I prefer is I want my bail to be positioned like this, so when I put my cord necklace through, you can see both, like one side and then the next side that we're going to make. Alternatively, you can turn your bail the other way, and then your necklace will kind of hang like this, and you'll only see one of these beaded sides. So that's totally up to you. So I'm just going to straighten out this wire. So if I'm looking from the top, I want it to just kind of go straight across, so it looped around, made that little connection, and now it's going here. And so I'm gonna start to make a nice curve. You want to try to mimic the spacing and the curve that you did on the other side there, so it just all looks symmetrical. And then you want to take your beads. I have little seed beads that I found that have kind of like a squarish little shape to them. I thought that would be good because one side is rounded and the other side is just kind of squarish. And then I have some yellow and green faceted beads, because I thought that they kind of matched the citrine. And this is the pattern I decided to do. So they just kind of slide down here. And what you want to do now, let me move this out of the way, is we're going to finish off the pendant. We're going to connect this wire. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim it so it's easier to work with. And you do want to leave yourself a wire end, though. Don't trim it like super short. So I'm going to take the little end and I'm going to kind of turn it and tuck it through this gap. So let me grab it here so that it's coming out the other side. So here, going in, going out. So now I'm looking at this side. I'm trying to maintain an even spacing with the other side. And I'm taking this and I'm just kind of pushing it through. See, right now, the spacing down here is a little bigger. It's a larger gap. So I'm just going to push it through some more until I feel like it's even. So when it's even, I go ahead and I start to kind of bend this down and around until it almost makes a full loop. And then I trim it, but I leave a little end so that I can close up that loop and connect the wire. So here's the little wire end, here's the loop that was formed, and I'm just closing up that loop. So you can't feel the wire end now because it's kind of touching the wire itself. It's going like into itself and making a full loop there. And now let me just adjust my little bail again and grab, where's my cord necklace here, just so you can see how it looks like this. This is how it hangs. And you've got some fun kind of textured beads on this side, and you can spin them, you know, up and down, as well as just push on them this way and have them spin around. Same thing with this side, and then you got this nice big round bead in the middle here. So it's just a really fun fidgety pendant. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.